Hey, it's a podcast. This is your host, Poe.
Hey, it's Cutter.
Hey, it's Devin!
Oh my god, someone go! What the heck?
Leave that shit in. Hey,
Yeah, we're leaving that in, baby. We're leaving that
You
in.
come before me in the thing.
What?
You're on the.
I have it as
Cover.
Warren, Cutter, Devin, Parker, but
Why
we
do we
need
go
to do
backwards?
it.
You're on the
We were
bottom.
going down the Discord list.
We're doing.
Yeah.
We're.
Well,
my
what?
on the
God.
Discord list in the top left of the
Okay,
screen.
okay, let's just keep rolling. Parker, go.
Yep.
Introduce yourself.
Go on, Parker.
Hey, it's Parker.
Hey,
Never go again.
What?
Go, Warren.
Go again.
Oh my god.
Hey, it's Devin!
Why does Devin have to go again? You already
Yeah.
Why
went.
did I
Now
have to
Cutter.
do it?
Hey, it's Cutter. Wait,
Now
hold on.
Warren.
Go on,
Hey,
Warren.
Parker, are you dumb? We're not
Yeah.
going on the cover photo.
We're going now again.
Welcome to
All
the
right.
Hey It's Podcast.
Welcome.
I'm your host.
That's the way it should be.
All right, welcome to Hey It's Podcast, guys. We're just a bunch of high school students talking about what we like, which is video games and everything. You know,
Everything, bro.
everything. So just like some basic stuff to get out of the way. The layout of the podcast for now, as far as like scheduling, we're gonna do a podcast on Monday and we're gonna do a podcast on Friday. Yeah.
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 Awesome.
2 days. You guys don't have to
Um,
wait that long.
Doing it then or submitting it then?
Submitting it.
Submitting.
That's when the uploads
Submitting
will
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
clear.
They don't
we
gotta
went
know
over
background
this.
stuff.
This is the
My
pre-game.
God. Pre-game, baby. Alrighty, cool. So, what do we want to talk about first? We want to talk about some like ideas for the podcast first.
Yeah.
Sure, get the good.
Awesome,
How
cool.
about it?
So, Warren, you go ahead and start us off with that.
Let's get this game going too.
Yeah,
let's
yeah, get this game
I'm
going,
getting
too.
tired of sitting here.
All right. What do you mean as far as ideas?
Just like some ideas, video ideas that you want to do.
Okay. Yeah. I guess. In general, it's mostly us just talking about shit like what. Cuss. Damn it.
You're fine.
Shit.
Shit. Cuss. Damn it.
Don't let a word stay in your mouth. Just like
But yeah, just talking about general stuff, what we've been playing, games, news, anything like that. We have some ideas for the future as like things we want to do. So like filming in person for sure, like getting us all on a couch somewhere and like with a mic in the middle, or for instance,
casting couch.
yeah,
Thank you, Cutter.
Oh God.
Can't get through a podcast without a porn.
You know it, baby.
doing some stuff like getting us all in like a van, like 5 or 6 of us, and just sticking a couple GoPros in and a mic and just driving around for like a half hour.
That
Do
sounds
something
awesome.
See what happens from
Fucking
that.
been around corners.
Just
and
saying,
shit.
that sounds awesome.
Yeah, I think
Nightlife
it
in this
sounds fun.
town will give us something to laugh at for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's legit.
Also,
Oh,
do some like on location in person stuff, like go somewhere. If that makes sense, I don't know.
Let's do a
That's
Walmart.
all.
We should do a Walmart.
so
podcast.
kind of off topic. But Parker and
Trust me.
Warren have like professional Star Wars dueling blades. We all need to get them now, and we need to do a video. of
I
dueling.
don't have that money.
I don't
I
either.
am
You know what? It's
not buying
sacrifice.
that.
Sacrifice for the podcast.
No,
I don't even like Star Wars.
Oh
we can
my
do
That's where you're
gosh.
wrong, Chief.
We need to try and do a podcast.
need a better
Hey,
life.
how does that last
Can it
movie
be
that came out,
something that's
Parker?
not-
Last Jedi, how'd that do?
Don't judge a book by its last chapter. That's how it goes, right?
Be pissed, Warren.
Anyway, Cutter, do you have any ideas for the podcast in the future? Anything that you really, really want to do?
No, but what I am gonna do is plug my personal channel.
Go ahead.
So-
Plug.
I am I have a bunch of videos right now in the works. So if you guys wanna hit that yeet button on Swiggity Swack, then
Which
you could definitely
one
do
of you
that.
did that?
Okay,
What?
Parker interrupted me.
One of you will die.
But anyways,
It's good
I've
I
got a-
interrupted you because
I don't
my
know.
videos are better than yours.
I've got a bunch-
when they're the same content.
Alrighty. So, Devin, you got any ideas? Anything you want to say right now?
You're lucky
I'm
I'm
down to
shit.
talk about anything sciencey.
What is
Anything
going?
sciencey. Awesome.
Later on, we have stuff.
Cool.
I guess we can talk politics too.
Yep. Anything. Which is that's gonna be interesting, just because like I think we have a pretty like all of us have different views on politics.
Yeah.
Stop
Stop it! What are you doing?
What?
I'm talking to Parker.
Oh, okay. What about you, Parker?
What about me? What ideas do I have?
Yeah, any ideas you want to throw out there just for the
well,
peoples to know?
I want to have a few things that are just kind of like, if occasionally one of us has like a funny story or something that happened that day they want to tell, we can have like a part of an episode that obviously wouldn't encompass the entire thing where they tell their stories.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
That'd be something really interesting.
This being a first one, it's definitely gonna get like better as it goes on.
For sure.
Uh,
Hopefully,
really
anyway.
going.
Unless we just continue to be straight.
This is more or
crap.
less of a trial test kind of thing. Like get used to
Didn't
it.
even pick him
Yeah.
up.
Alrighty, cool. So that gets rid of our intros for that. So now we gotta pay. Actually, before we do that, why don't we all plug our channels? Go ahead, Warren. What is your channel? Tell the people.
RV or something. I don't upload anymore, bro.
Oh, you don't? We were just
No.
watching shit.
Bruh.
Well, yeah, like that's old stuff.
Oh, I see. I see.
Yeah, it's mostly
Devin,
just
do you
Parker
have
and
YouTube?
Cutter.
I have a YouTube channel, but I don't make videos.
Oh, you guys are lame. So Parker and Cutter, check out Cutter's Swiggity Swag,
Swiggity swag, baby.
I'm
and
lame
then
because I don't
check out Parker's Hey It's Crafty, and then mine is Poganda. So you want to check that out? I just put out a short film not too long ago. It's not that great, but you know
I've
what?
seen it.
It's
I
better
thought I
than
like
nothing.
it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
I watched
appreciate
it.
that.
Pretty good.
I appreciate that. Parker was in that too. He was the barista, and I forced him to wear my clothing.
Wait, you're actually
I
talking
probably
about
didn't fit because
the
Parker's a
test.
fatty 2x4.
Actually,
Hunter, do we need to compare
we have the
weights?
same size clothing.
No, I'm not fat.
Damn.
I'm not fat online, bro. You are. You are definitely fat online.
Well, I'm a model online, so that's a deal.
Uh,
Alrighty, so
bring in the comedy.
in that
baby.
case,
Let's get it.
let's talk about paying the bills. All right. So today's video sponsor is Dryo Flask. Ever find your mouth just too wet? Try Dryo Flask, the patented technology in the
used it.
bottle. Hey, shut up! I'm paying our bills.
Use Dryoflask.
The patented technology in the bottle is specially designed to help those moments when you have just too much moisture in your mouth. At a low price of $19.44, you can fix all your salivatory needs. Note: Dryoflask does not take any legal responsibility for desert mouth, dehydration, hypothermia, or bad breath. Please do not use Dryoflask if thirsty or traveling inside the desert. Now
Great
that
ad
we
read.
have that,
Yeah, that was a good
I
ad
called
read.
it.
now that we
It was
have
even
that
better
out
when
of the
Parker
way.
started coughing right in the middle of it.
Yeah, you dick. Jesus. What are you using that Dryoflask?
Yeah, a little too much of it. I didn't heed the warnings.
You should have. Are you traveling through desert right now, my guy? Because that's like
Good
the
job,
most
Parker.
common.
Way to live. Way to survive.
Ow.
Oops. Alrighty, so now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about more important conversation. What we've been playing as of recently, the past week, past month. Why don't you go ahead and kick us off with that, Warren?
Yeah. So I got a lot of Rainbow this game, CS:GO, grinding on it, and the new Battlefront update. Let's talk about that. Capital Supremacy. So
Oh my
good.
gosh, it's so good.
Nice callback to the old game. They needed a little bit of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure,
definitely.
for sure.
Let's
Not
take
that I
it even
don't
farther
hate
back to
on
that
them.
loot box fiasco that happened a couple years ago.
Yeah, we don't talk about that.
We don't got to talk about that. That's a terrible ex-girlfriend.
We all survived. It sucked, but we're a good spot now, so we'll just
Yep,
put it there.
I'm happy with that. Now, as soon as they can, nerf Anakin a little bit, I'll be even more happy.
They did.
They did recently. He's not as crazy.
better.
But they also have not removed the knockdown from his block break, so he can literally still just hit and knock down anybody in a chain.
That's tough.
Cool. Alrighty. Cutter, what you been up to lately in the bitchy games?
I've been playing a lot of Counter-Strike with Warren.
Hell,
Been getting back into Shell Shock recently.
Of
Yeah.
course.
You know how
Swanky.
been,
Lot of
Hey,
fun.
who shot the
And-
hostage?
what else have I started
They
playing?
did.
Oh yeah, I did a honey pop speed run. That was kind of cool.
That's pretty
Oh,
good. That's
oh,
top
nice.
tier.
Classic game.
I'm playing a lot of Flash games recently because it's like nothing really that I want to play has come
Go
out.
back to that time I was streaming.
legit.
How
I've been
to
playing a ton of Flash games.
play Wow Wow Wubsy Flash game.
Dude,
I streamed that for like an hour.
I
The
beat you on
most
that
views
WoW
I've had
Wubsy
on a
Flash
stream.
game.
That's legit. That's legit.
Oh, we played a little bit of golf with friends recently. That was fun.
Oh yeah,
Nice.
that'd be a good one to play. And
Yeah, that'd be a good
do this.
throwback.
Mhm.
Especially with the group.
Fistful
I
of
just-
frags, baby.
Yeah, that'd
we
be
should
nice.
start. We should play like.
I've kind of become a beast at that. Just saying.
You get pretty damn
Alrighty.
angry.
I have more kills than
Yeah.
Parker, by the way.
You don't get mad at games, but
That's like the one game that I get crazy toxic in, which is so stupid, but whatever.
The other day I was playing CSGO and I hit my desk. And I shut my computer off. Because I hit my
that's
desk.
not
hard.
ordinary.
Nice.
I haven't done it in a
See,
while.
I can't do
Was
that.
was
The
that-
button of my
was that
computer's on
Parker or
top.
Cutter that hit their desk and then their mic, or they like smashed their headset or something and it stopped
that was-
working.
I think it was
I remember
Parker.
hearing about that story.
Wasn't me.
Who?
I'm pretty sure it was Parker.
Smashed my headset.
Not the headset, but it. Fuck
I
your
smashed my microphone and broke 2 legs on it once. My
Yeah,
blue snowball, the one Warren's using.
Yeah, right here, broken.
It's all cattywampus.
Cattywampus.
I'm gonna take
Alrighty.
my vote to the main road.
Back on topic. Devin, what you been up to lately? What you been playing?
The
With
good
himself.
old textbook. I haven't been playing like anything. Other than
You're
that,
just-
I guess I've been playing
You've
this.
been playing CSGO with us.
Yeah.
I played
You got some
one
No Man's
game
Sky
of
in there.
CS:GO.
You've been playing a lot of No Man's
Wow.
Sky.
That's
guys-
like 5 days.
No Man's
Yeah, you were
Sky
playing
is-
No Man's Skies the other day when I was in Discord with you guys.
I don't think I actually was. Well, that was a
You
while ago.
literally.
It was
Didn't
like
we just start a new
Wednesday.
world?
I don't fucking know.
Hey,
Yeah.
6, 7-letter word stay in your mouth, bro. It's like
Just-
bruh with
Yeah.
4
Edited a
H's.
beat over it.
Anyways,
Anyway,
Oh,
Parker, what you been playing, man?
7 letters.
I've been throwing in some Rainbow, a little bit here and there, not as much as I used to. Battlefront 2 is a really big one for me, since we've gotten the consistent updates now. Really? Since we've gotten the consistent updates and the new flow of content, I've been playing the heck out of that. And other than that, I've been revisiting Assassin's Creed 3 because of the remaster. That's been great.
Legit. I need to get
Didn't
on
really
that.
need a remaster. It was
I've been tempted
free
to
in the
buy
first
it.
place, but it's a great game.
Didn't they add some other updates, like just quality of life updates?
Yeah,
Or no?
there's a couple quality of life things, some like mini games and stuff for you to do. So there's more to it than just the graphics, but I'm not
legit.
gonna complain.
Always appreciate that.
Other
Always.
than that, our ARC server just expired, so I was throwing in a little bit of that
Ah.
too.
Did
I
it?
didn't know it did. Otherwise, I would have.
oh, there's
Yeah.
a fucking bomby boy.
Alrighty. I guess it's my turn then.
Yeah. What have you been playing?
I've been playing a lot of Breath of the Wild, actually.
Yeah.
So I want to tell this story on the podcast because big
Please
mad.
do.
Shit.
Did I tell you guys the story of my Breath of the Wild
I didn't
experience?
shoot you earlier. What the hell?
I'm not sure.
Okay, so I went down to El Salvador last summer for a missions trip. I was there for a week. There were a couple like younger kids there with me. I'm just plugging Jesus here, by the way.
Hey now, this is a government operation, Parker. Can't do that.
But
Parker's about to start foaming at the mouth.
anyway, so I was in El Salvador, and I brought my Switch because I was like, I might get bored eventually. I didn't. I got really busy, but some of the younger kids did, so I let them borrow my Switch. They played a lot of Guns, Gore, and Cannoli.
Oh.
Fantastic game. And oh my
Damn,
gosh, they just
that's
dropped.
That's tough, Parker.
Cutter.
Anyway,
No wait.
Take him down.
what?
We're not
Why
very
didn't you
coordinated in this.
Why didn't you save him? I love
I
Parker.
killed him last
Because he
game.
murdered me.
But,
He's gonna go
but,
Parker next.
oh.
He's aiming at him.
I'm
Oh.
not.
Yo, no.
I like
Sorry.
Puddle.
Anyway,
Take
back
him down,
on,
Warren. Do it for me.
back onto my story. Okay, so I let them borrow my Switch, and they started a Breath of the Wild game, but they were on my profile, so they reset my game.
Bruh,
And I was-
bruh. That's a certified bruh moment.
I-
That's tough, dog.
You were like
I was
100 plus
85
hours, right?
I had played 58 hours on my Wii U,
Oh.
and then I sold my Wii U and got a Switch, and then on that I was like 85 hours in. Like I was
Yeah,
about
me
to
too.
defeat Ganon, and they reset it. So I just kind of like stopped playing Breath of the Wild because every time I played it, I was reminded of that depressing moment of my life.
That's tough.
But-
Those kids in El
I've been
Salvador,
into it
man.
again,
Trust them.
I know, right?
Oh, Parker.
That's kind of mean.
Yikes.
But I've been getting back into it lately, and I just remember how much I love the game because it's a fantastic game. It's
Yeah, it
gorgeous. It's got awesome game mechanics, and it's got arguably a good story. It's just
Don't talk to
an
Preach
all
about
around.
Hey, I don't hate Breath of the Wild, contrary to popular belief. I just
Really.
believe it was
Granted.
strongly overhyped.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
and I love it.
It is not nearly as good of a game as most of the people say it is, but it is still a good game, and I
It's
enjoy
one
my
of
time
my
with it.
it's one of my favorite Zelda games, but I would
Yes,
agree
definitely.
that it's
Me too.
way
Yeah.
overhyped. Other than that, I've been playing Battlefront 2 as well, mainly with Parker when Warren decides to join us. But I've been having fun with that. Other than that, like I don't know, I've had the strong urge to play the Division 2 because I own it. But
You
I
bought it.
Yeah.
I know. I thought we were gonna play together, but you haven't bought it yet.
Okay, well, we bought Ultra Sabers, so...
It's freaking Division 2 is way cheaper than Ultra Sabers. That's my excuse.
Yeah.
$60
Oh,
versus.
cutter.
Oh man!
You like
All right,
that?
cool.
Yeah.
So that's going around the little table thing, So, how about them black holes?
That's...
Ooh, yeah.
Mm.
Ambrosian.
So,
I love holes.
So-
Ah!
Van-
We'll let
oh
Ambrosia
my
take this.
gosh.
Take him down,
Yeah,
Warren.
Van Brosion, go
Gun
ahead.
him down. What do you
No,
want me to
don't
start
do
with?
that.
Gun him down. Oh.
Yeah, eat my ass, Parker.
Hey,
Oh, I'm sorry.
not in my Christian Minecraft server.
Sorry, eat my butt, Parker. Let's talk
That's
about
what
why.
happened.
All right,
let's talk about why our local high B didn't have any Mia. And so I did my Crystal Light today.
Crystal
Like a peasant. A peasant.
What's Crystal Light?
God
drank
damn.
You
them.
put in water and it like flavors it. And now my hands are stained and dirty and I feel
Better
scummy.
drank a peasant.
Mhm.
Mm.
Anyway, Van Brosion. Sorry,
Well,
Devin.
What do you want to talk about on it?
Just what are your
Just slow
thoughts
down.
on?
How
Yeah,
black it is.
What are my thoughts on it?
yeah. What are your thoughts on the black hole image?
Here's the lowdown on how it was possible and the implications in the future.
Cool as heck.
So for starters, so obviously it's the center of another galaxy.
Mhm.
They actually did manage to take a picture of the galactic center of the Milky Way as well. But it
That's
was a
cool.
lot
I didn't know that.
hazier, mostly because of the angle we're at in relation to its accretion disk.
Mm-hmm.
And an accretion disk is it's like on a single plane, so it looks like it looks like a disk, not a sphere, And those are caused by stars being torn apart, especially supermassive stars being torn apart by the black hole. And so the black hole rips the stars apart, and then the friction between all the particles heats up all the mass, and that's actually what you were saying. The black hole is a shadow at the center of the whole thing,
So I have a question.
and it's actually about 2.6 times the shadow is times the size of the event horizon.
I have a
Because
question.
the photon sphere is over there. Yeah.
Let me ask my question. Okay. So, so there's two different types of black holes, right? A spinning black hole and then a stationary black hole.
Yeah.
What?
Laser spinning.
These were spinning black holes?
Mhm.
Okay. I was curious about that. Okay.
I don't know a
Good.
whole
Oh
lot.
my gosh, who flashed me?
It's probably the Blitz.
Mm-mm.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah, I definitely didn't pick this.
Oh,
one.
Parker. Fun fact about Blitz, real quick.
His new rework, quote unquote.
Yeah.
I'll continue here in a second.
Yep, go ahead.
Jesus. What am I doing? Oh! Okay. I want to get this out of the way for Parker real quick. Blitz's flash works at 5 meters, but it's not full effect. It works perfectly at 4 meters. It does not matter if the person is facing away.
That's actually pretty interesting.
Yeah, it
I
is
like
nice.
the
Yeah.
mechanics of it.
But you have to be pretty
Cool.
close. Okay.
Hey, complete the diffuser.
so-
bro.
One interesting thing about the accretion disk that you can see when you look at especially the picture of the M87 black hole, which is the one that got shown everywhere.
M87? I thought it was M85.
M87. So the accretion disk is the glowing orangish red thing around it. That's stars being torn apart. And they've already been torn apart. They're not stars anymore. It's just a lot of hydrogen and oxygen and whatnot different types of atoms. They can't be molecules because they're way too hot, because they'd fall apart. So the atoms are rubbing against each other, and that's what makes them glow initially. But one thing you might notice is that there's actually a brighter part on the disk, and that is because of the Doppler effect. So
What's that?
The Doppler effect is, you've listened to a plane fly overhead.
Mm-hmm.
It's how the plane, so the sound waves of the plane's engine, they are compressed as the plane approaches you, and they are lengthened as the plane flies away. So the sound gets elongated and has a lower pitch, and it has a higher pitch as it comes closer to you. The same thing happens with light, but it takes much further distance to do that. So the matter around the black hole is actually flying. It's orbiting at a significant fraction of the speed of light. So that's So that's how it generates so much energy. Is actually just by using the gravitational pull of the black hole itself. And so since we're not looking dead on at the black hole, so the image that is brighter, I imagine, it has a shorter wavelength than the dimmer aspect of the disk. So the material that is flying towards us is the brighter section, and it's also flying at us so much faster that it just makes it super obvious when you look at it.
Okay.
Cool. I've also meant to mention before how they did this. To take a picture like this, you'd need a telescope that's the size of the planet. So what they did is they used all radio wave based telescopes. This is actually, that image is actually in radio wave and then converted so you can see it, because of all the material like nebula and all the gas clouds and everything in space. Nebula are gas clouds. But radio waves can easily get through that, similar to how it's a light refraction thing. Just like how the sky looks blue, but the sun looks red when it's on the horizon, even though it's actually white. So what they did to take this picture is they used all those radio waves based telescopes that are on the planet, so it actually was not a satellite. Mm-hmm. And they had them all focus on it at one time, and then continue to focus on it over time to simulate an Earth-sized telescope. So it's not technically as good. It would be a much better picture if it was actually Earth-sized. But it's a simulation, so it's a discount Earth-sized telescope.
How difficult would it be to get an Earth-sized telescope?
Parker, Poe, haven't you ever seen Star Wars?
That's not possible.
Don't you know that the First
Not
Order can make something infinitely larger than the Death Star within the span of 18 years?
No, it's not. So a telescope of that size would compress under its own mass.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I would guess that's how it would go.
I see.
So therefore, it would fall apart.
Okay.
Even if you had foundations and stuff, kill that thing.
Very cool. Very cool. So.
Hit him in the head.
Are they continually taking more pictures to try and get it more clear?
I don't imagine they would get it more clear. The image. The technology hasn't been improved.
Okay.
Since they've taken the picture, because it was just taken.
So most importantly,
the object is also just as far away as it was before.
It's cool that we have a picture of a black hole and everything, but why? What have we learned from this? Why is this important?
Because it's a significant chunk of evidence to prove the general theory of relativity.
Okay.
Which
for people that don't know, do tell.
Hmm?
For people who don't know what that is, go ahead and say.
Yeah, it's a little complicated.
It's Einstein stuff.
It's
in general.
Einstein. It's
E equals
you know-
MC squared type stuff, right?
To do with
Pretty
gravity
much.
and whatnot. Yeah.
Okay.
Well-
cool beans.
yes.
Okay,
That's
very cool.
actually E equals MC squared, I believe, is the conservation of mass and energy. I think.
I wouldn't know. I'm a lot better at psychology than I am
But
astrophysics.
yes, it is definitely an Einstein era thing.
Okay, very cool, very cool. Awesome. So, do we know how old these black holes are? Like, are they younger black holes, or are they like quite old?
I imagine they're not too different from our black hole's age, but they have a lot more matter around the center, so the black holes are a lot more massive, and the accretion disks are also larger.
Very cool, very cool. Very cool. Alrighty, so we done talking about black holes?
I think that's
one fun
absurd.
fact. The matter in that the accretion disk matter in the accretion disk takes about 2 days to orbit the black hole because it's moving
Really?
so, which might not seem super surprising, but it's moving close to the speed of light.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like that's crazy.
That takes a while to go around, and also it's called a supermassive black hole for a reason. It's not just the image is actually tiny. The reason it's so fuzzy is because they took a clear image of way more space than is actually shown in the image,
Yeah.
And then they like power zoomed
and
into
they
it.
had to power zoom the crap out of it. Yeah.
I see. So,
Alright, we can do
compared
whatever.
to the Earth, how
Oh, God.
large is the black hole in the center of our galaxy? And then compared to that, how large is the black hole?
I
of the popular
believe
picture that's going around.
the black hole at the center of the galaxy. I'm not gonna use the Earth. I'm gonna use the sun.
Okay, go ahead.
The black hole at the center of our galaxy is probably several million times the mass of the sun, while the one in the other galaxy, the one that was shown, is several billion times the mass of the sun. It's a lot bigger than our
Jeepers.
It's much. I don't know the exact numbers.
That's
I
very
haven't
sick.
looked into
That's
it that
very
much
sick.
yet.
So
It's a big
question
boy.
real quick while we're still on the black hole subject. So, is the size of a black hole determined by its direct mass, like just the mass?
Yeah.
So that every black hole is technically like the same, like singular point size, because like that's what singularity is, correct?
Yeah, I guess you could think of it that way. It wouldn't really make much of a difference. The only thing that is really as far as I know, that's really important, is that well, you can't really calculate how big they are on a single point level,
Okay.
but you can calculate their actual size. The event horizon is what people actually look at when they want to try and figure out the mass of the star, because the event horizon is its size directly correlates with the mass it has.
I see.
So this star, or this black hole, not a star, is a lot larger
It's a
than
big
our.
black star.
So the black hole at the center of M87 is it's significantly larger than the one of ours, and it's still getting larger. Both of them are still getting larger, but another thing about them, I suppose, is they have these jets coming out of them.
That's really cool.
Yeah, they have. So you can't actually really tell from this picture. I think they actually did see it. You could only see the one that was coming
Just
our
from a
direction.
different angle.
It's actually surprisingly close to coming at us, which is kind of weird. Usually I think the jet usually goes perpendicular to the disc.
Yeah,
So it
that's
comes out the other
that's
side.
what I heard too. Awesome.
And that's basically highly ionized matter being ejected at pretty much the speed of light. Also, those can oftentimes result in gamma ray bursts, which if those were to hit, let's say something nearby, let's say 2 neutron stars nearby, which are basically black holes that haven't collapsed infinitely yet. let's say 2 of those clash together and they form a black hole, and in the process they also supernova. A supernova, and then the center is left with a black hole. So that would lead to a gamma ray burst because it's such a catastrophic event. And the same thing happens when something sucks in so much mass, I believe.
Okay. Sick.
So if, let's say, a gamma ray burst hits Earth, whatever side that could happen at any time, and we'd have pretty much no way of knowing. The only real way I could think of is if neutrinos came out of that first, which are super tiny subatomic particles. They're so small that we can actually detect them before we can actually know when a star is exploding before it explodes. Well, technically it has exploded by that point on several different levels, but light is actually larger in its size. Than it interacts with matter easier than neutrinos do. Neutrinos can basically, so they're created when in catastrophic events, and like a supernova. So if a star collapses, it creates neutrinos and also gamma rays and X-rays and all that, which break apart as they go. Not neutrinos though. Neutrinos are like a millionth the size of an electron. So they basically fly pretty much the speed of light, and they can interact with matter. And we actually have facilities, like there's one in Japan that's an underground neutrino facility, and it has to be underground because those are the only things that would be able to get there. So it detects when the neutrinos go through, and it lights up that way. And then the station actually tells automatic telescopes around the world where that explosion where the supernova actually happened, or where the event happened. It doesn't have to be a supernova technically. And then those telescopes will automatically turn to face it.
I see.
But we can tell that that's happening because those things are so small. They escape the star like it's nothing, while light still takes years to get out. I mean, if it's exploding, the light's going to get out a lot faster, obviously. But it takes like weeks sometimes for stars to collapse.
Very cool. Well, we've been on this topic for a while, so let's move on.
All right. Real quick, before we get off of it, Devin, just real quick, what is your favorite astrological
what do you want?
Enigma, whatever.
Sorry, what was that?
What's your favorite astrological object? Big, whatever.
So it's actually pretty much the same thing as the picture of the black hole. I was actually talking about it, but with the things that so I've got 2 things that I have in mind. An astrophysical object. Yeah. My favorite 2 things are protoplanetary disks and quasars. And quasars are basically they're an active galaxy center, or active galactic nucleus, which is what we were looking at in the telescope, or with all the radio wave telescopes. That's the black hole we were looking at. That's basically a quasar, but it's not nearly as extreme. Yeah. Quasars are actually super uncommon now, because to get that level of energy, and gamma ray bursts do come out of those. To get that level of energy, you have to be consuming supermassive stars all the time. Yeah. So they're not really common anymore in the universe, but we can actually observe them by looking at extremely distant objects, because light takes time to travel. So basically, it's like looking back in time.
That's cool.
Actually,
which is a weird concept to think about. Like, we're looking at stuff that's like several million light years away. That happened several million years ago.
Well,
not a million, a long time ago.
A quasar.
Oh, million. Yes.
A quasar's jet that comes out of it.
Sorry, dude.
Is
Parker. Great. How is the world, or how is the universe that old? If
Here comes the smart.
Billions of light years.
There it is.
Okay, so they're actually You've seen stars at night. So if you see a quasar happen, it would be brighter than, and quasars happen for quite a while. It's not like a one and done deal like a supernova. They take a while to go away. But if you compared them to stars, they would look about as bright, if not brighter, than stars in the sky. But the difference between the difference between them, the difference between them is that stars that you see are only at most a couple hundred light years away, and not always, but with the naked eye. And quasars are several billion light years away, so they're like billions of years ago. But they're still about as bright, so that kind of gives you an idea of the precision of how the matter escapes. It's in a very small area.
Very cool.
It's
So
not,
what's a
it doesn't
planetary
expand.
disk or whatever the heck?
Protoplanetary disk, that's actually my background right now. So imagine a solar system with a star that's just been born, and it's got a lot of matter around it that has yet to come together, but it's still in a disk shape because it's already been compressed into that way as it spins around, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So protoplanetary disk is basically, imagine a solar system with no planets, or if any planets, they're little tiny planets, and they aren't technically planets yet, they're protoplanets.
Okay. Sweet.
Yeah, so it'd just be a bunch of rubble everywhere, unlike what it is today because all the planets have cleared out the orbits. That's what
Awesome.
that's one significant reason you would call something a planet, is because it orbits the star directly and it has enough mass to clear its own orbit,
Okay.
which Pluto doesn't do.
Very cool. So, now that we got those questions answered, let's
All right.
move on to another topic. All right, so Parker, take it away. Let's talk about some season pass
All right.
and games as a service stuff. And again, this is a group
Yes.
conversation.
Still never.
This one is
So,
more
I mean,
everyone
if
get
you wanted
involved.
to talk about
This-
it like me.
Oh, no, I mean, I
No,
enjoy
this
what
is-
you're doing.
this
Yeah,
is-
like it was
I
good.
do too, but this
I
is-
like listening to it 'cause I don't know anything about it,
Yes.
Yeah, me either.
so it was,
So,
it was really interesting.
What we're talking about this time is it's kind of set up. A big battle right now is about spending money after you initially purchase a video game. You know, there's a lot of people that think if you buy a $60 game, that should be the game, and all content coming after that should either be free or be included in the game. That's a big debate point. Obviously, that's not the case with a lot of games. A lot of games use season passes. But one of the big trends right now that a lot of games are switching to is, quote, games as a live service. And I want your opinions on games as a live service versus season pass. And for the sake of this, we're going to assume that the season pass is a good deal, because some of them are and some of them aren't. But
yeah.
Okay.
Let's
Live
start off
service
with
as
Warren,
in-
since he's on top.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, go ahead.
Live service as in like.
Battlefront 2.
Like you have to pay as you go.
Battlefront 2.
Yeah, I was
live
thinking
services.
like World of Warcraft.
Oh, you, like, get it
subscription.
immediately?
Games as a service would be like Fortnite and Battle Pass and stuff like
So
that.
like a battle pass type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I.
I'm.
Sorry, what are we
you wanna
talking
go? I can go. I have thoughts. on it.
Cutter,
start
go
us
ahead
out.
and go.
Yeah,
Personally, I like a quote unquote battle pass. I like it a lot
yeah.
better
I do too.
because let's say I pay upfront and I don't like it. I don't like it. Like I own Black Ops 4, and like if I had bought the Black Ops pass, it's not worth it in my opinion.
Mhm.
But there's nothing in there for me. So if I had bought it and ended up not liking it, then I'm down an extra $40.
Yes.
But in a game like Fortnite, and I know
Or
you
Apex.
guys don't like Fortnite or Apex or Warframe, but Warframe's is free.
Warframe's a little different.
You can see what's in that package, quote unquote, and then you can decide if you want to purchase it and work up to getting those rewards, which I think is a lot better.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it lets you A, have more decision, and B, if you're strapped for cash, you don't have to immediately buy it.
Cool. So, does anyone else want to go before I go ham? Because I actually have a decent
I
amount.
want to hear you go ham, dog.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so I have a couple different opinions. As far as single player stuff, I dig it. Assassin's Creed Origins season pass, I absolutely loved the stuff that was in there. I liked that 2 extra campaigns. I thought it was a lot of meat. I think I got my $40 worth. I think it was $40. I got my $40 worth of money out of it. I bought some skins as well that were completely useless because it was single player, but I just loved the game so much.
The
You
hell?
shot me.
I'm sorry.
But I thought it was great. But I think it just depends on the game. Like if it's a game that I adore and I want more of it, then I'm going to get the season pass probably. Like Origins, I fell in love with that game and I just love it to death. And I needed more, and more, and more. Other stuff like multiplayer, it depends on the game and it depends on what it is. Pay to win is never good, in my opinion. I think
Yeah.
pay to win, that's just a nasty tactic.
Yeah,
EA.
I completely agree.
And but I love skins. Like if you want to
Yeah.
spend $100 on skins, go ahead. I don't care.
It's just like CS:GO.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you
Just
don't
like
have to-
CS:GO.
They don't do anything except you can flex on people.
Exactly. I think that's really cool, and I like to personalize my character and pretty much everything. So as far as that, that's what's up.
All right. I'm gonna throw out what I think here. Dish out some
Yep.
examples. One I think of the best examples of what can work in a season pass is what we are playing right now.
Yeah.
Rainbow Six Siege launched with a $60 price tag, and it kind of had a quiet launch, and it's nobody really freaked out about it. Nobody thought it was going to be any significant title, and it gained
Still
popularity
isn't,
over
but-
time, and now it's like one of the biggest FPS games that there is.
Opinion.
On
And-
PC anyway.
What? Yeah, on PC. It's mostly a PC scene. Huge competitive scene too. That's crazy.
Mhm.
But the way that they handle the season pass, I think, is one of the smartest ways that they can do it, because they've got the base game and they have yearly planned out content that you don't have to pay for.
Mm-hmm.
The operation comes out, drops a new map for everybody. Everybody gets to play on it instantly. So no matter what tier of the game you have, you can have the starter edition where you paid like $5 for. You
15.
get
Which
to play
I do,
that
by
map.
the way.
Yes.
$15.
So that you will get that content.
I feel-
Then they
I-
have the operators, which is quote unquote premium content, which still the starter edition person can get if they want to work hard for it. It's
I didn't. I just bought all of year one.
and you can
That's
do
what I
that,
did
and
too.
it's not necessarily a paywall. It's not necessarily giving you an advantage. If you get good with the base operators, you can do just as good as the new ones.
Get that
No,
glass
it's
going,
about
baby.
That's true.
learning people and learning you play, and there's not necessarily any direct advantage if you know what you're doing. And it allows hardcore players to say, oh, hell yeah, I'm getting that season pass. I love that game. I'm going to play the hell out of it. And then it lets casual players say, yeah, I'll drop $30 on the game so I don't have to work quite as hard to get that content. So it has both incentives for both player bases.
And it also gives the developers more money
Yes.
Yeah.
to continue to develop. Like, I don't care about getting a Rainbow Six Siege 2 anytime soon. Like, as long as they keep dropping the season passes and keep giving it so much awesome content, I don't care.
And
And
that's
I'll give them my money for that.
Yeah.
that's my next point, is looking at the success and shortcomings of Battlefront 2. When it launched, we're not going to talk about the loot box fiasco. That was garbage.
Canceled
Shouldn't
my
have happened.
pre-order.
It didn't make any sense. I get it. That wasn't good. But they never at any point said there was going to be a season pass. They always said it was just going to be a live service and they were going to periodically release content. Early on, they started off pretty strong. That The Last Jedi season was pretty good. Not talking about the movie, but we got a map.
True,
We
it's
got,
pretty good too, though.
we got a
No.
map. We got new classes. We got new heroes. It was a good update. And then after that, slowly just started to kind of fizzle out. And now we're getting like one map or one hero or maybe two heroes if we're lucky per month. And I just don't feel like we're getting content fast enough to keep most of the player base engaged. One thing to look at is like Rainbow or Battlefield, like Battlefield 1 or Battlefield 4. Because they'd release a content drop like 4 times over the course of the year, and there'd be new maps, new guns, new tanks, new operators,
Be a
new
ton of
whatever.
content.
And there's a ton of content for you to get in there and play with. But nowadays, Count Dooku comes out today. Okay, cool. I get on to play him. Everybody's playing him. There's not
Yeah.
enough content for me to get in there and play. And 2 weeks later, yeah, I can play him. But by then, the next thing's out.
Mm-hmm.
Not with Battlefield or Battlefront.
And yeah,
It-
that's
it
being
takes-
generous.
It takes like 4 months for something new to come.
Yeah.
You know,
So, and I
That's
love
really
Battlefront 2. It's fantastic, but I do not think that the live service thing is working. I want to pay
Say
$60
that.
more and get 4 updates with a huge amount of content. That's basically doubling the size of the game.
say you
I agree
love
with
it,
that.
but like,
I'd agree with
half
that.
the time when we play it, you know,
Oh, I get
it's
pissed.
greedy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Especially in
for sure.
Heroes.
Oh,
Oh,
you should throw us in again.
fix the lightsabers.
Oh, yeah. I
Still
should.
having
me too.
problems with that. No, I agree with that. I think people are just feel entitled. So for some reason they think, oh, I shouldn't have to pay for extra content, but I'm perfectly fine with it. If my money allows this game to be better, and if I get $40 worth of content, awesome. I'll pay $40 more. Big deal. If I love the game, you know.
People also like to cite like older games as arguments, like Battlefront 2005. Yes, it was a great game, and yes, it was one of the best games of all time, really. And the amount of
What
content it
game?
had was phenomenal.
What game?
But the original Battlefront 2.
Okay.
But relatively speaking, the quality of game demanded then versus now
Yeah.
is astronomically different.
That's what I was
So
going to
true.
bring up.
To like, and you can go back and play it, and right now, Battlefront 2 2005 is starting to show age because the animations aren't that great, the textures aren't that good, the maps don't look very good, the sounds aren't really that accurate, the sound quality isn't very good. At the time, it was top of the line, but now there's so much more work that gets put into these
Yeah.
things, you know?
I
And the
think-
heroes back then just had a lightsaber and a force push, and now it's like a competitive scene, so you have to put so much more work and balancing into the design. It's just not, it can't happen.
The biggest thing is nostalgia.
Yes.
I think
People
another.
expect
Well,
I don't
even
think
then,
we're
the
all
gameplay
dumbasses.
of the game is still extremely good.
By
the
the way,
gameplay is amazing, and like Parker and I were talking about it earlier. Like our favorite things about the game, it looks like a Star Wars game.
Yeah.
That's the biggest
I
thing
agree
I
with that.
appreciate. It's Star Wars through and through. Like when I play that game, I feel like I'm in a giant Star Wars battle on Geonosis.
Yeah.
I think
yeah.
another games compare it to, and I know these aren't in the same series, quote unquote, but like if you've played a first Tony Hawk Pro Skater, it's a fun game. But then you go, 10, 15 years later, you have like the skate games,
Yeah.
which I think it shows an evolution of the amount
E3 was.
that goes in and the like evolution of hardware. I think
That's
that's
legit.
really cool.
That's legit. I agree with that. Very cool. Very cool. Any other ideas on that subject?
Nice and aid, Warren.
Shit got stuck right there.
I've covered my topics.
Yeah, I think
Okay,
we
anyone
made
else?
my
Yeah.
case.
In other news, another big topic that happened this week. PlayStation Network users can finally change their PlayStation Network tags.
Yes, which I'm.
I
That's
mean,
pretty- that's
we all
pretty
play on PC mainly, but for
I
those
play
of
on
us,
Xbox mainly.
well, fair enough.
I have everything though.
Yeah, I used to have PS4, but for those of us who need, like, my PSN name, I don't have a PS4 anymore. My PSN name is Eraser45654, and I've been wanting to change that for like
Cringe.
literally years. Yeah,
That's kind of
like,
terrible.
oh, it's awful. I've wanted to change it for years, and even though I don't have it, I'm kind of excited to change it to something good.
Yeah.
That's legit.
You know what I
That's
mean?
legit.
Yeah. I just think it's neat.
So I have in my notes Avengers Endgame discussion.
Okay.
Some thoughts?
Oh,
Ant-Man! Ant-Man!
Shut up, Parker.
Ant-Man is.
I
going
have
to
not
climb up
watched
Thanos'
the
ass and
trailers.
expand.
You shouldn't. Don't watch the trailers. They spoil so much.
Yeah, I don't want to watch the spoilers
Don't
because
watch
I didn't watch the Joker spoiler because I don't want it spoiled. I'm so excited for that, so I don't.
Yeah,
want
that movie
anything.
looks pretty good too. Whatever you
I'm
do,
stoked.
literally don't watch it. They spoil so much of the.
Also,
No,
it's
they
a
do not.
3-hour
Are you
movie,
kidding?
though.
They spoil a ton of events that happen.
Explain.
Shh,
No,
don't
'cause
explain.
Devin, because not Devin, because Poe's in here, so I'm not gonna explain.
It-
There's a lot of
So-
stuff that happens.
Not only am I in
We
here,
don't
but if
wanna
somebody
hear it either.
like,
Yes,
yeah, see, we just know.
there's so many
Just-
different. There are so many different things that. I mean, maybe they're showing those because there's bigger events, but there's still some pretty significant stuff that they reveal in the trailers.
That's
But they
kind of
probably
like,
shouldn't have.
that bothers me as a
Yeah.
filmmaker myself. That bothers me.
They're
Which I'm
also,
not- I'm not
Uh,
like a pro,
the-
but like
so-
I can analyze a good.
as far as Endgame goes, the directors, the Russo brothers, came out and explicitly said that the films or the scenes that they filmed for the trailers are filmed specifically for the trailers and may not even be in the movie. And
I mean,
they're faking the trailers.
You should look back to Infinity War where they
When,
digitally
like,
placed
half of
Hulk
it.
in the battle for Wakanda.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
also true.
Like half of those trailers were.
I mean, games do that too. You know, they'll show something at E3, and people will get kind of pissy because, like, oh, the content you showed at E3 isn't in the game. But it's like, well, it's a
Watch
cool mission. They
Dogs.
didn't want to
Yeah, I
spoil.
was just about to say Watch Dogs.
Well, Watch Dogs is a little different.
Watch Dogs, it's like a reverse situation.
There's
Yeah.
a little more controversy around that time.
I had Watch
I'm
Dogs on the
talking
PS3
more
and it never
about, like,
loaded.
I never played
Uncharted
Watch
3
Dogs.
is the
That's
first thing
alright.
that comes to my mind.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know. I didn't have a PS4 back then.
In
so
the
I didn't care.
E3 trailer, PS3, in the E3 trailer, the gameplay trailer they showed, Drake was sneaking around on a ship to go rescue someone, and like,
Schnick.
he got there,
Sneaky beaky,
and it was just like the person he was looking for that they didn't say who it was turned out to just be like a dummy, and they had tricked him into being there. But then it turned out to be a significant character later on, and you know they just kind of hid that with a blank slate mission to recover somebody.
Yeah.
So that could be what the case is for Endgame.
Yes, I think it's.
Yeah,
very
you guys
much-
remember that Evolve game? How that was?
Rip.
Oh my gosh.
That game is
Dude,
free
I have
now.
a friend who was like an
I
Evolve.
bought that,
like,
dog.
faithful.
I bought that at GameStop for $5
It's
like
free?
3 years ago. It's free now. It was free. I think they took it down completely.
I have yeah, they closed the servers.
Yeah.
Which I have a
Which-
friend that
and
literally
it's-
cried.
I mean,
because he
it's
adored
tough.
that game.
I liked it a lot when.
I
Like,
thought it
in
looked
beta.
good, but it wasn't
It
good.
was alright.
Yeah.
There are other games I'd rather play.
That's legit. I don't know what the problem was because I didn't play it.
I think it comes down to the content. Like what
Yeah, it
Parker was
just
saying
didn't
with
have a lot.
Battlefront. It had a lot, but then it never got any new content.
Yeah.
So it got really old really
When
quick.
it came down to it, it was a new concept and it was cool for the sake of being a new a new idea for a game and a new
Yeah,
thing.
it was. I don't think it was
And then-
executed very well.
And then once that and also once it got down to it, every time you load into a game, you were doing the same exact thing every time.
I mean, if you want a game to be successful, it's got to have longevity.
That's
I mean,
legit.
you
I
You
agree.
look at let's look at Minecraft for a second.
Oh my.
It's been in
gosh.
development for probably 9 years. Like,
Dude,
First
it
of all-
released in like 2011, 2012.
Parker,
They're still
There's-
working on
Number
it.
one, they're still updating it. and
Wait.
it kind of fell
That was
off,
me.
but you know,
I threw an impact grenade at
the
you.
new
Oh,
updates have
damn
really
it, he
brought
shot
some
me
of
through
the.
the shield.
Okay,
Well,
let's talk about
I think
Minecraft.
people are still interested in its update.
I'm definitely interested in it, and like I'm an 18-year-old
yeah.
boy.
How about stop it with the Minecraft?
Now I'm mad.
I hate Minecraft.
Yeah, let's talk about
Why?
Fortnite.
No. Oh.
Damn, that's tough, Parker.
Notice how nobody like says a word when you say let's talk about Fortnite.
I'll talk about Fortnite.
Yeah,
Okay.
obviously
I've got the
no one
Season
here
8 Battle
cares.
Pass for
That
free.
was the point.
I've been trying to do the challenges recently, but this Battle Pass is shit. I'll tell you what, I've been playing through
Because it
Season
was
3.
free.
Season 2, and it's shit. I don't care
Because
if I
it
got
was
it for
free.
free. Like, you look at that Tier 100 skin, yeah, no, I'd rather just get
I
my
haven't
free,
seen
my
a
non-existent
single
money back.
terrorist yet.
Your free non-existent money.
Somebody
back.
would have to pay me to use the battle pass to even touch Fortnite.
There we
Yeah,
go.
that's legit. Give me
Not one.
$30 and I'll play an hour of Fortnite.
Yeah,
30, but it's not that bad.
it's
Battle
awful.
passes are $30.
No, they're not.
So I think that's how
No,
much you need to
10.
pay. me
They're
to play the
$30
game.
if you pull a war in and buy 25 tiers because you're not good enough to get to 100.
Dude, the
Yeah.
battle pass is literally $30.
It's $10.
Yeah.
What?
It's
It's a
free,
thousand.
guys.
Well, yeah, see,
Well, it was.
What are we
You
even
have to
talking
you have to
about
do,
now?
like hours of
We're talking
Fortnite,
about
baby.
Fortnite Battle Pass.
it's not $30.
Why?
You have to do like hours of challenges to get it for free.
It's
Not really.
so dumb.
I play Fortnite like twice a week, and I'm up
I
there.
play Fortnite twice a week. You are a loser twice a week, Cutter.
Damn. Okay, that was a little mean.
I'm gonna leave this podcast. I only do it to do the
Do it.
challenges. I mean, I
That
We
have,
was
don't need
mean.
you.
and I also really want to play it when I'm out of
Kill him.
stuff to play.
You don't shoot me. All right. Now that we're all civilized,
Cutter, no.
No,
Cutter, no.
do we have anything else we want to talk
Cutter,
about?
no.
Jesus. My God. Can you get
Do we
banned
have
in this if we
anything
kill
else
you?
you
Uh,
want to? I don't know. I've killed 2 people already.
Cutter,
Anything
no.
else we need to talk about, guys?
Stop.
Let's-
I don't know. That's all I had.
That's all I have.
Yeah, that's all I had too. There's not much happened this week in
No,
terms of.
No,
Oh,
I agree.
fuck, I thought that was Devin.
A big
In terms of,
part of this podcast was
What did you just say, Cutter?
astrophysics.
I said, bruh.
Astronomy.
Good job. A big part of this podcast was honestly the black hole stuff, which is fine.
That's fine.
Notice we're
I
not
think
an
that's-
astronomy-based podcast.
Right.
We're like
That's the biggest thing that
podcast.
happened this week, though. In
Yeah.
terms of
Yeah,
stuff we
I'd agree.
like.
For sure.
If you need me to
I
give
definitely
you
agree,
the,
too.
drop the knowledge bomb.
No. Hey.
No,
Thanks for listening to the Hey It's podcast. we had
All
a
right.
really good time.
Well, yeah, I think that was
I think
pretty
it's
good.
a
That
good
was
send off.
I meant
Yep, I
other
agree.
times. I don't feel like talking about it that much right now.
All right.
Oh yeah, other times for sure.
I'm gonna clutch.
Awesome. Well, good job.
Kept shooting
Well,
after he jumped down.
Thank you very much for tuning into our podcast, guys. Hey, it's a podcast, episode 1, baby. I think that went pretty well.
Yeah, I do
So
too.
we'll see you Monday.
Later.
Catch you later.
Goodbye.
Bye. All right, cool. So we're gonna start now. All right.
Okay.
Oh my God, Parker.
He's
The booth too hard.
You already pimped it.
So-
What the heck?
It's
podcast.